Have a seat.
Hello. It's kind of mad, isn't it? Yeah? Cool.
Is it always like that when you walk out on stage?
Anywhere.
Yes.
Not even just down the house.
Yeah. Get into an elevator.
Yeah. Amazing. I employ people to do it. I need it. There we go.
Well, I'm going to ask you a couple of general questions that perhaps we're all wondering, and then I'll throw it out to the crowd for specific questions. But I think one of the obvious ones that might be on our mind is if you've had a chance to see Capaldi's first episode as the Doctor, and what are your thoughts?
I have. I watched it the other day. Wasn't it great? I think they're very clever with who they get to be the Doctor, and you know, everyone who's done it has brought their own thing to it. I just think, you know, he's one of the best actors that we have, and he's just great. He's just really good at acting, which, you know, you have to be able to do the job. So, yeah, I found his performance really exciting, and it had enough bits of what Matt did in it, and you know, I think, you know, he really has a good grasp of what it is. I'm quite excited to see what he does with it.
Well, when you become such a part of the Doctor Who family, do you have insight as to what the future episodes are? I'm not fishing for spoilers.
We didn't have any insight when we were in it. Didn't know what was going on half the time. Still have no idea what really went on. People ask questions. It's embarrassing because I have a very bad memory retention and attention span and all of that. So people ask questions thinking that I'll know as much as you guys will know, and I don't. But then I can live quite blissfully in ignorance, which helps in other aspects of my life. Yeah.
Well, of course, one of the other big things this summer, Guardians of the Galaxy, with Karen Gillan.
With lazy Karen Gillan, who didn't bother to turn up.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Yeah.
Her tweet said that she's working. I'll believe her at her
Yeah.
work. She's probably working on something.
Working.
Yeah. But have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, I haven't seen it for my sit. I thought I'd be able to watch it on the plane, but
No!
It wasn't on the plane.
Don't watch it on a plane. Go to the theater.
Go to the theater. I need to see it.
Yes.
I do need to see Blue Moon Karen. Yeah. Shaved her head and looks more like the moon.
And before we go to the floor, what's it like, you know, in Toronto? Is this your first time at a Toronto convention?
First time in Canada.
In Canada,
You guys clap anything. Just placing. Canada! Montreal!
It's amazing.
Wow. Churros! Right. Oshawa! Maple bacon! Brian Adams!
Don't do Bieber though. That
No. Great. What won't you cheer?
And just to you know, make things awkward up here, who's the better person to work with, David Tennant or Matt Smith?
Oh wow!
I'm kidding.
That's horrible. Neither of them. I hate working with both of them. I never talk to either of them. It's difficult. It's difficult. Me and Matt are both here this weekend because we really have beef.
Yeah.
Yeah. There may be a fight.
Well.
When we're doing our panel tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're both gonna wrestle. Hulk Hogan's here. I'm really excited about that. I was like, there was years of me beating up the cushions on my parents' sofa when I was, 16, when I was like 7. And I just want him to power slam. I want him to pick me up and throw me through a window or something. He won't. He's a gentleman.
I don't know if he's been doing much wrestling lately anyway.
Is he not?
I don't know.
Just inwardly. You never know. You don't know what people have got going on in their minds.
Well, I did want to ask you, related to Broadchurch, how do you transition from being on a show with such whimsy like Doctor Who to working on something that's certainly a lot more serious like Broadchurch?
Yeah, it's really great actually. It's funny because obviously Chris Chibnall, who writes Broadchurch, also wrote a lot of Doctor Who. So there's, he has his stamp on everything. He's so good, but it's really nice to do something which is, I'm a big fan of variety in my career and life, and get kind of quite bored easily. So it's really nice to have really good scripts to work on and to be able to do something different. But yeah, it's really hard actually. We're filming series 2 at the moment, and yeah. Is that you just clapping the number 2? Is that? Yeah, which is going really well. I'm not allowed to talk about it, so I won't. I'll try not to. But yeah, the scripts are great. It's great just doing stuff which is really quite, very, very, very serious. But it's hard stuff. But yeah, they on the set of Broadchurch at the moment, so Jodie Whittaker, who's in it with me, found out that this is a long story, sorry. So my mom, let's go back. My mom, as a joke, for Christmas 2 years ago, gave my grandma a cardboard cutout of me from Doctor Who, saying that you never see him, and you always shout at him when you do. So this can be in your house, and you can just shout at the cardboard cutout of me. And when Nan opened it on Christmas Day, I was like, oh. This is ridiculous. And I started laughing and I found it hilarious, but also kind of embarrassing. And my nan just went, "Why are you laughing?" And I thought, because it's stupid. It's like, it's not stupid. It's beautiful. Which is great. And then she put it up. And I went, "Well, them your legs on mats." Now, I don't know why she thought that the legs of the cardboard cutout would possibly be Matt. And also, it's the only time she'd ever called him Matt. She used to call him Dan. Which is stupid. So Jodie Whittaker found out about this and bought a cardboard cutout and put it in my trailer. So when I opened the door of my trailer, I was scared by thinking there was someone in there, and actually it was me. And then it's done the rounds, and people keep putting it in other people's dressing rooms and toilets. It ended up in Olivia Colman's hotel room. And then I saw someone throwing it out of their trailer the other day, and I found it in 2 pieces near the bins, which was quite depressing. Yeah. So that's what's happening on Broadchurch. Lots of hard work.
All right, well, let's go to the floor. If you got a question, just throw up your hand, and then I'll have you shout it out. And if we can't hear you, I'll reiterate it. I saw one right here in the front row, so let's go there first.
Hi, Alpha.
Hey.
So my question is related to your music. If you could collaborate with anyone who's currently alive, who would you like to collaborate with?
Oh, wow.
Did everyone hear that? Yeah.
Who didn't hear it? Great. That's a really good question. Thanks. Musically, there's so many amazing people. I've just watched, Kate Bush is doing gigs in London at the moment, and I haven't been able to see them because the tickets sold out in about 9 seconds. But I think she's amazing. So Kate Bush, Tom York is brilliant. Justin Bieber would be a great one. Yeah. It'd be great to collaborate with Justin Bieber because you could just make him, make him bray like a donkey or something. Something experimental, I think just really stretching your... That's the dream, isn't it? Arcade Fire would be amazing. They're playing tonight in Toronto. It's fun. Other people.
Can you think of any lesser-known artists or indie artists that you want to give a little shout-out to that you're a fan of?
Yeah, there are... you guys probably know most of them. Oh yeah, 5. That's good. There's a guy, thanks for answering my question. Get put on the spot. I'm going to employ you just to be my other brain. Yeah, there's a guy called Fife Dangerfield who's brilliant, who I used to play guitar for. And he's in a band who don't really play anymore called Guillemots. So look at them, they're brilliant. There's a guy called Baxter Jury in London who's great, and he's Ian Jury's son from Ian Jury and the Blockheads, and he's really good. And there's a band called Cold Specs who are great as well. But hope you're writing these down. Be testing you later. Yeah.
We'll go back to the crowd for more questions. Saw lots of hands. There's one in a black shirt next to the lady in stripes, and I'll go to the lady in stripes next.
Okay, the question is, of all the Doctor Who episodes that you weren't part of, is there one that you would have liked to be part of, you would have loved to play in, and why?
Great question. Thanks. I really like the Van Gogh episode. They were filming while we were filming at the same time. And Tony Curran is brilliant. I just would have liked to work with him because he's great. So off the top of my head, that one, but there were probably loads more. Yeah. I'd love to work with Capaldi at some point, maybe in the future. But not on Doctor Who, because I'm dead, or I get over it. Never gonna happen. Oh, The Musketeers, yeah. That show, have you guys seen that? Yeah, that's good. I like that show. Anyway, yeah.
So there's a lady in stripes. It was the same question, how about that? All right, then right down with the red hair.
Are you naked? Oh, thank God. I thought you were living one of those horrible dreams. And suddenly you go, oh yeah, so I woke up, I asked the question, and I looked down and I was naked. So, thanks, God.
Out of all the times you died as Rory, what was your favorite death?
My favorite death? Thanks, naked guy. Huh?
I'm the drunk giraffe.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Someone get rid of him. There's a naked guy who's hammered. What was the question?
Which was your favorite?
Oh, favorite death. Favorite death. I liked being zapped by an old lady and turning to sand, which has always been a dream of mine. And yeah, because there was there was a lot of decisions in my time in Doctor Who that I made because I was a big Back to the Future fan. Like the gilets. Do you guys have gilets here? Do you know what a gilet is? A puffy vest. Puffy vest is a different thing. The body warmer, the life preserver. That was because I was a big Martin fan. And also the disappearing into sand felt like the bit where his hand disappears when he's on stage, and I just really liked that. So right.
Let's go right to that doctor right there with glasses.
Out of all the times that you've played like a character on stage versus on screen, what do you find is the biggest difference with the way you have to act from like something like Once or Doctor Who?
So if anyone didn't hear that, just the difference between performing on stage and something like Once versus performing on screen in Doctor Who.
They both have their difficulties and challenges and an equal amount of work, I think, for each one. Being on stage is different, depending on how long you're doing it for. I've just done a show called Once, which was great, and I did it in New York for a while, and then in London, and all in all I did it for like 10 months. which is, I was terrified. I was meant to do it in New York for a year, and I couldn't. The idea of doing it that many times was, I thought I'd just go mad by repeating the same thing over and over again. But there's something about that repetition which makes you make different decisions each time. I find being on stage much less nerve-wracking than doing TV stuff, because it feels like, especially after a while, that you've done it so many times that you can really play with what you're doing and make decisions in the moment. Whereas for TV stuff, for me anyway, and I still feel very much at the beginning of my career, that you have to do a lot of work beforehand to get to that point on the day, and you only really get a few chances to get it right. And also you have that pressure of making the definitive version of something. But doing something like Doctor Who was great because you get to know the character so well, so your decisions come much quicker, and you get to, when you're working with people like Matt and Karen and Alex, and everyone else who's involved in it, and you forge working relationships with them, and you understand how each other tick. And it really helped having been on stage with Matt before, because we did a play together before we did Doctor Who together. So we'd already worked together and knew kind of bits of how each other did stuff. So that made that more enjoyable and just easier. But then, there's some days in the theatre when you're going, I don't know if I've said this already today, and you do go slightly mad. So there is that.
Go back in here to the Fez.
Just kind of curious what your most memorable behind the scenes on the episode of Doctor Who is, whether it be with Matt or the trio in general.
A memorable behind-the-scenes moment while working on Doctor Who.
Wow. What secrets can I tell you? We had so much fun because we travelled so much together. Like going to Croatia to do Vampires in Venice was great. That was really fun. And we stayed in this little town, and then all of us going to Utah and hanging out and going to strange bars called the Shotgun Saloon, where we all thought we were going to die. Yeah, there were loads of fun, but so much of the time, we felt quite, I think me and Matt will probably touch on this tomorrow, but so much of the time was because we were doing it for so long, and no matter who you spend time with, you all have loved ones or people you live with, you can choose to go, oh no, I've had enough of you for a bit, we need to go and do our own thing for a bit, Whereas we were forced together in this kind of environment for a very long time, so we built up this way of talking to each other, which kind of involved not really saying anything, but just being quite loud. And I think it was kind of annoying for a lot of people who we were around. But there was so much time, where there were amazing sets and big, sweeping camera shots and whatever, which a lot of the time we were just sitting around for, trying to alleviate the boredom at times. And it really sent you to some funny places in the mind. So a lot of the most memorable times were just pissing around with each other, trying to make each other laugh. And boy did we laugh.
Let's go up top if there are any questions from up top, like right dead center with the black hair from the looks of things from down here.
What was the first episode of season Doctor Who?
Where are you? Oh, hey. You're so high up. Don't fall. The first episode, so it wasn't on when I was a kid, but it was when I was really young. So I remember sitting at my nan's house, the same nan, while she was gazing at me, saying, "You're so beautiful." When I was a kid, in front of the fire, I remember watching some Sylvester McCoy episodes. So it was one of those, I think, and I can't be more specific than that. Yeah.
Oh boy, there's a Fez in the middle of that trio over there. Yeah.
Do you own a lot of Doctor Who memorabilia, and if you do, what's your favorite piece?
Only the stuff I stole.
Which begs the question.
Best question is, what did you steal?
Yeah.
It's got 2 bits of the TARDIS. I've got like a phone, and there's a magnifying glass which was used quite a bit that was just on the TARDIS, like a proper magnifying glass, which was just on the. I nicked that straight away. And then I'm not sure what I've got. When our leaving presents, they gave me and Karen giant pictures of ourselves. Thanks. So that goes. That's above my bed. No, it's not. It's definitely not. It's Mum and Dad's house. But yeah, I don't know. I've got like whole piles of stuff. Having an action figure of myself was a pretty big moment. That was a pretty big day. It looks nothing like me, but it's nice to have. So yeah, that's kind of cool. And I kept all the scripts and everything. I'm gonna, when I get really broke, I have my slump in my 40s. I think my 30s is gonna go well. Then I'm gonna spend all my money, become bankrupt, and just sell all my Doctor Who memorabilia. It's gonna happen.
I imagine that moment of getting your action figure had to be like a really cool, like, wow, this is really me, this is the world, this has happened.
Yeah.
Was there a preceding one? Like, was there a moment, when you were shooting, or was there a moment where it hit you, like just how, huge the impact you would have is on the world?
It was really funny because we were all so nervous because we didn't know how well it was going to do, especially Matt, like the weight on his shoulders was quite considerable, and then shooting 11th Hour was great because it felt, we knew how good the script was. It's still one of my favourite episodes. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a brilliant piece of television. It's directed so well by Adam Smith. I think it's, really, really good. So there was a moment where, because you're filming, you don't really think people are going to watch it when you film, because you can't think about that. You just have to think of what you're doing at the time. And then we watched a really, really early rough cut of it with Beth and Piers and Stephen, who were producing the show at the time, in a flat in Cardiff, and Matt and Karen just sat watching it like that. Every time we were on screen, just going, oh, it looks so stupid, the stupid decision is horrible. Yeah, I think that happens a lot with me, because you're just like, I can't bear watching myself in anything, and listening to my own voice. It's just like, if I was in the audience, I wouldn't, be doing that. So it's, I don't know, that's kind of unbearable, but then you realise, that was when I realised that, oh God, other people are going to watch this. And then, when we went to the first screening, you see people really engaging with it. And, the first people that come up to you in the street and go, "You're Doctor Who!" That's kind of like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's kind of, it wasn't one defining moment, but yeah.
Go back to the crowd. I gotta go to this side of the room. They're in a duck costume from the looks of things.
Cool. Oh, what a kind question, thank you. I'm really annoying my friends at the moment with this idea that I can dance, and because I can't at all. My girlfriend can really, really dance well, and so I can do drunken me when I dance, which is generally this. You have to take it very seriously. I call it the spaghetti arms. And it really annoys all my friends who are trying to enjoy themselves. So, a little insight into my hilarious life. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Slender Man, I think.
That's terrifying.
Silence.
Oh, excuse me.
Your thoughts on England's World Cup campaign?
The next question. We're really, for a country that prides itself on, for a country, it's anger-inducing, I tell you. It's a country that has one of the best football leagues in the world. You realise that it's only because we've bought all the players from abroad. It's ridiculous. Yeah, awful. But as expected, let's stop watching.
Back to this side. Way at the back, I see Loki.
Which alien is your favorite?
I really like the silence because he's sitting right there. Because I like the psychological element of what I think it's genuinely scary rather than, you know, just someone in a suit. It's a real scary idea behind it, and I think it's really clever. Yeah.
Maybe we'll go back up top. I see a hand right there. Above you. There. Well, I'll come back.
Not you.
I just
Yeah, you know, like your question was awful.
look right back. Now there's 3 people asking questions.
Everyone, all at once.
Did Howdy came on Doctor Who before? So if you were actually cast as a doctor again,
We should have gone to the other one. What? No, sorry. What was that? I can't hear you. I can't.
If you were to play,
Your voice has got higher!
if you were to play,
How would you play the
I'm so
doctor?
sorry. What? Jesus!
I'm sorry, I've lost control of this. My skills of a moderator.
Shouting at me!
My God. All right, you're trying to reiterate the question, right? Okay, we'll let her reiterate.
the question was, if you become the doctor, and because Polly was a doctor, on Doctor Who before. But
Okay. Shh. What's the end of the question? I got the beginning.
How would you play the doctor?
Oh, thanks.
I think, yeah.
Dunno.
And we'll go back to that first lady I overheard.
Oh my God.
There's a lady right at the balcony, right there in the dark shadow. She just threw her arms up. That's where I was going to, and then we'll go back up there somewhere. All right, first things first.
Okay, if you could play in any movie, what would it be and what character would you play in that movie?
Wow.
So a dream project, I
A
suppose.
dream project. Have you guys seen Brazil? Terry Gilliam film. I always wanted to play Jonathan. I mean, I wouldn't want to do a remake because that film's perfect. But if I could have played any part in any film, it would have been Jonathan Pryce's part in that. Because I think he's brilliant. I think he's amazing. Yeah, I'd love to be in a Muppet movie. Just know that happened. My friend Zach Levi just did some stuff with Sesame Street, and I was like, yeah. So yeah, that'd be cool. And then other things that are serious. Yeah.
All right, and there was the other lady who kept trying to get her question out there. Yeah, go on.
Don't apologize.
No, there's 3 girls right here to the left, and the middle one of the 3. Go for it.
what's the stupidest thing you've ever done on the set of Doctor Who?
Well, both myself and Matt were fairly clumsy. Just breaking things endlessly. Stopping filming because you pulled the handles off a door. Yeah. There was times where I had to be in a hospital on the pirate episode on a slab, and I just kept falling asleep. I was meant to be like, nearly dead or whatever, so that was fine. But yeah, there's a lot of broken stuff, and I just hurt myself a lot. Injuries.
I think I'm gonna
So
stay.
fine, thank you.
I'm gonna stay down here where I can keep a sense of things. Right there. Yeah.
If you were the Doctor and you could choose any fictional character to be your companion, who
Did you hear that?
Yeah, great, because I've given that a lot of thought. Oh, God. That's a really good question. All right, okay. Who would you have first? And then I'm going to think while not listening to your answer. Well, no, who would you have? Oh, wow. So would I. Because that could lead to a lot of hilarity. Yeah. Who else is there? Marty Fly. No, he's too cool. Yeah, Doc Brown, he'd be great. That'd be a good crossover. Why is that not happening? Sorry? He's just far too terrifying for me to listen to. That'd be good. You guys should write it. I don't know. Yeah. No, don't start on fanfics. Don't.
Alright, there's a gentleman right there, glasses, blue shirt.
Okay, mine's a serious question.
God, thank God, finally someone's a serious question.
So a lot of celebrities usually have a large audience, right?
That was a great lead.
Okay, so celebrities usually have a large audience, so they're able to point their views out, like charities or organizations that you have a heart for.
Yeah.
So recently I saw that video about Patrick Stewart, how he supports women who are violence against them, and also veterans who are coming back with post-traumatic stress disorder. So my question is to you, what organizations, charities, or things in your heart that you follow and want others to support as well?
There's a children's charity, that's a good question. There's a children's charity in Birmingham where I'm from called Acorns, who do some amazing work. And I do a fundraiser every year, apart from last year, at Christmas time, with some mates of mine for that. And then there's a couple of children's charities, basically play work with kids, and I think I work for a charity called Play Pods, who provide play expertise for kids in school to help them, and a couple of other do some stuff around honesty as well. But, yeah, and other bits and pieces. But yeah, those mainly.
Thanks for giving back, and great question. Right there, holding the camera at the ready. Yep.
Rory dies a lot. How would you like to go?
Wow. I would like to be mauled to death by a grizzly bear. Because if you're gonna go, you may as well go in a hug. That's how I want to go. Thanks for the question.
I've moderated a lot.
Please not soon. Please can you not soon.
Never heard that question before. Let's go over there.
Hi, besides Matt Smith, what doctor would you like to be as a companion?
Wow. Good question. I'm making this up on the spot again. I haven't thought about this, but I think Tom Baker would be quite fun. He's hilarious. But as long as my character could be the one who just laughs, well, yeah, that'd be great.
We got time for a few more questions. What?
Oh, hey!
Let's go to that one then.
Huh? Yeah, I am absolutely terrified of Daleks. Are you afraid of Daleks? They're scary, aren't they? Thank you.
Great question. Great question. Oh, you're directing me over there. All right, sure. The person pointing at their own head at this exact moment. Yes.
Do not do an impression of Matt. And my impression of Karen, well, always used to speak like that. Which is what Karen's going to sound like when she's an old lady. Which she really is. It responds. Yeah, that's it. That was what we spent a lot of time doing. Yeah.
I will go right there.
Broadchurch was amazing. What are your thoughts on them remaking it as an American series?
Good question.
So yeah, I did this thing called Broadchurch, and they've remade it. I think it's a thing called Grace Point. With David. In the same part. Saying the same lines with a different accent. And I reserve judgment until I've seen it actually, because it might be, it could be great. Because I think that...
It was perfect the way it was.
Yeah, but, you know, it's what happens, isn't it? For some weird reason, why not just, anyway. But, if it's going to happen, I think the people involved are very good, and I think, you know, James, who directed the last series, he's directing this series as well, so it looks the same, which is good, maybe. I don't know, I hope it's different, because otherwise I don't see the point, but I presume it will be different. Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna go, there's another little girl with, looks like a fez on and a pink dress. Do the monsters scare you?
Yeah. 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 I can't really...
Well,
I did get quite scared. It's scary enough walking onto a set that Karen Gillan's on. And that was cheap, wasn't it? Part of me died inside when I said that. I'm really sorry. But yeah, it's pretty scary. They're everywhere.
Well, let's wrap up on this. Just overall, what message do you have to all your fans here in Toronto who came out to see you?
Thank you very much. I'm slightly overwhelmed by how many of you are here. Thank you. And thank you. It's really, I find these things slightly overwhelming, and you know, it's very humbling. So thank you very much, and I look forward to meeting a lot of you in autographs and photos and everything, and around. Do say hi and put some clothes on.
Arthur Darvill, everybody.